Hi everyone, welcome to the muster drill. I'm Scott and Royal Caribbean has joined the Cruise Line Fight Club. Hi everyone, welcome back. So the last thing any of us want to think about when we're on our cruise vacation is crime and fighting and anything else that would ruin our time on board. So I'm sure by now most of you have heard about this big fight that happened on the Carnival Magic last week. And if you haven't, I'll just quickly recap. There was a huge fight on the Carnival Magic last week. It was apparently over a jealousy situation, and it really got me thinking, how often do fights happen on cruise ships? And are there other types of crimes that happen on cruise ships? And if there are, what do we do to protect ourselves? How do we report it? And who handles the whole situation once the cruise is over? So I'm gonna be showing some video here from a few fights that have occurred on cruise ships in the last couple of years or so. Now, like anything else that happens on a cruise ship, the cruise lines have a super vested interest in keeping a lot of the information about what happens on a cruise ship quiet. So the cruise lines are obligated to report every serious crime that occurs on board to the FBI. There was a change to the law or something in 2014 that requires the cruise lines to do that. But like everything else that happens on a cruise ship that the cruise lines might see as negative, they work really hard to control and restrict the flow of information. So you're not going to really find a whole lot of information since the restart because the industry has been dealing with COVID and, financial difficulties and all this other situation to try to get going again. But if you go back to like 2019, it looks like the biggest issue in the entire year of 2019 were sexual assaults. So I'll put some information up here from a PDF and you'll be able to see for yourself. You can pause and take a look at it if you want. But I was really surprised. So before I talk too much more about any of this, I want to get to these videos. Oh, and then after the videos are done, I'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. So here are the videos. I was really surprised to hear about this situation that happened in Australia in 2018, where when you look at different news reports and stuff, now obviously that was a few years ago, but when you look at that situation, you look at a lot of the witness accounts and stuff, it seems like that situation was pretty unique in that those people came on board apparently looking to just cause trouble. Australian authorities took care of it. They got him off the ship and, they dealt with it. But other than that one situation in Australia in 2018, most of these situations are just a spontaneous, unforeseen circumstance that occurs and it's over pretty quickly and everybody gets back to having a good time. So if you're ever on a cruise ship and you're the victim of any kind of crime, no matter how minor or major, obviously the first thing you need to do is report it. So okay, enough of the doom and gloom. We have really great news from the Federal Communications Commission. They have finally approved Starlink internet service to be used on moving vehicles. Now, Elon had come out a few weeks ago and mentioned that the service is still kind of unreliable on moving objects, but they are working on it, and if anyone can get it figured out, it's Starlink. But it's really great news for internet, especially for somebody like me who's constantly having to deal with internet problems. And I know it's a first world problem, and sometimes I really hate even mentioning it when I do, but at the same time, I'm working so hard when I'm on cruise ships to bring everybody this really great content from the ships, when it can sometimes take 24 hours to upload a 7-minute video. Really be frustrating for a lot of people. It's great news that that's been approved, and Royal Caribbean has already been testing it on the Freedom of the Seas. I'm going to show an image or two here where you can see a few of the Starlink receivers that they have mounted on the front of the ship. I believe that most of the cruise lines are advertising speeds of something like 3 to 5 megabits per second. There's no way we're getting that, especially when there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people on board who've all purchased the internet and we're all sharing it. Of course, satellite internet is, can be unreliable and spotty, so different conditions affect how it works and stuff. But with Starlink, it's definitely a better system. It's got more satellites, more coverage, and Starlink had gotten permission to put satellites in a lower orbit to increase speeds and decrease latency and stuff like that. So that's definitely good news. So there's been some other YouTubers that have been fortunate enough to be on the Freedom of the Seas and have gotten to use it and really said great things about it. So I'm really excited about it too. Although I feel like I have to point out that as expensive as the internet already is on cruise ships for what it's worth, you just know that the cruise lines are going to charge more money for this. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about today are these. So if you've ever been on Royal Caribbean and purchased the soda package in the last couple of years, this should look very familiar to you. This is the cup that you get. It's insulated. It's got like an outer layer, so it doesn't really condensate very much, or if at all. And, it's fairly decent sized. I'm always worried when I take the lid off, I'm always worried that I'm going to drop the lid somewhere or something like that. So according to Royal Caribbean blog, Royal Caribbean is replacing this cup with the chip in the bottom of it with another cup that does not have the chip. It has a sticker. And because this new cup is not double insulated, it gets a lot of condensation on it, and that sticker is falling off. So there was a comment on Royal Caribbean blog that some cruisers who were recently on the Harmony of the Seas, who were given these new blue and orange cups, these cruisers had to constantly go back to guest services asking for a new cup because this sticker would fall off. So other cruisers had mentioned how frustrated they were that the machines had trouble reading this sticker, again, because of the condensation. So I'm not really sure if these cups are temporary. Maybe they had a supply chain issue with the normal cups. So these cups were used for a brief time at Labadee in 2016. So maybe they had a bunch of them laying around and there was a supply chain issue with the normal cups. So they went back to this cup temporarily until they can get those supply chains figured out. I haven't seen anything from the cruise lines one way or the other. And before I end things today, I just wanted to ask, have you noticed anything different about today's video? And if so, please leave me a comment below. So I think that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button. And then don't forget to click the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. You click it once and you're done. It'll really help us out a lot. And then don't forget to click that notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.